keep beating that drum. Don't stop beating that drum and find the passion to continue because it is easy to lose the passion. You've got to go back to that, why you're doing what you're doing.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Teresa Kuhn. Previously, episode 627 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 2 years, 11 months, 16 days, 2 hours and 45 minutes since we last had that recorded conversation.
I have a philosophy of constant and never-ending improvement, and you can begin by identifying 3 areas of your life that you want to improve, and just every single day take one tiny little step towards improving that part of your life, and in a year you won't recognize yourself in that area.
That was then. This is now. How are you doing today, Teresa?
I am doing fantastic, Angel. How are you?
I'm as excellent as can be. Thanks for asking.
Well, I want to congratulate you. You know, you are one of those just rare individuals that not only did you follow through the first time around with your project, right? And it was a year-long project and you made that commitment. And I remember when we first connected and I saw you out in the social media world and you had made this commitment, you followed through with it. And now, almost 3 years later, you are following through again. Do you know how rare that is, Angel? Do you understand?
Well, I think so, just a bit. I think I do, but what I wanted to say is thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate you calling me out on that because many people that I've had on the podcast that we've invited back, they do not reflect, as entrepreneurs, as coaches, as individuals that are living everyday life. We rarely reflect on what's past us. So I'm so glad that you've done that because, it's been a lot, right? It's been 3 years of having these conversations. So thank you for that. It's connected me to you, Teresa, thankfully.
Again and again. And hey, if you're up for the project, I'm up for doing it again in the future. And, we don't want to dwell and live in the past, but the reflection, gosh, I can tell you, I can look back 3 years from now, and my life was pretty different 3 years ago than it is today. And some things do remain the same, right? But a lot of growth, a lot of interesting things going on in the world. How about for you?
Yeah, things are great on my side. I've had many growing experiences around the things we focus on, which again is mental, spiritual, career, physical, personal, financial, family, and of course with the business side, sales, administration, leadership, operation, and marketing. All have seen growth, all from conversations. That is something we both spoke about, and an important and integral part of great conversations is the ability to listen, as well as when you're intuitive. That as well helps tremendously. How has that helped you develop over the last 3 years if we averaged it?
So I can tell you 3 years, I've noticed the difference in my perception of how I've grown and wisdom. There's some things that we learn, as we're growing up. I've been very, very blessed to have just really cool mentors that were significantly older than me, male and female. And I love the circulation of energy. And as I was mentored, I've always had people that I mentor, right? And so I had mentees and I was being taught as well by others. And as I get older, I appreciate so much more the wisdom and the interactions that I had with those who came before me, my older mentors, because I'm seeing things differently. And it's reminded me about conversations that I had with these mentors. And I'm like, oh, that's what they meant by that. Even my parents, some things that they would say when we're younger, we can't relate. And now I'm just noticing more and more of like, oh, I get that now. I get that now. And so it's helped me mentor others, knowing that there's just some things that they may not be able to appreciate at a certain level today because they just don't have that life experience. And to take that into consideration that, we're all on a journey and we all get things in our own time. and age. There's no replacement for age and experience.
I agree with that. One of the things I've found in having conversation with you previously is how present it feels. Like you're totally closed off to any and everything, specifically focusing on my voice when you are actively listening. And it feels that way. I could be wrong, right? You could be fooling me or tricking me here, right? But if that is accurate, is it something that has to be practiced or is it something that comes naturally to you?
Oh, practiced. Absolutely practiced. And, that's one of the things that I can tell you I've learned, and this is from experience and aging, so to speak. The ability to say no and to really, 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 really focus on very few things. I've found myself being more specialized and saying no to more things. And that's given me another level of specialization in the work that I do and my being with people. That's one of the things I can tell you. The frenetic energy we have when we're young, right? I've often thought that energy is lost on the young. I'd love to have it as we grow older because there's so much we want to accomplish, right? And that frenetic energy is frenetic. It's not necessarily always focused.
Mhm.
And because there's less energy that we have as we age, and that's okay, it's just a part of life, right? And I'm
Mhm.
not talking from a health perspective. I have tons of energy from a health perspective, but you notice there's a little bit of a difference, there's a nuance. And I'm able to tap into that and say, because I don't have that same frenetic energy I had when I was younger, I can now really, really focus and really appreciate the gift of saying no. No to that distraction, no to that opportunity. It's not in alignment. I don't have all of that energy to give away anymore. I have less time than I did 3 years ago. Let me laser focus on what's really important, what's really going to make the major impact on myself, my family, my clients, my friends. That's been a gift. I did not have that level of understanding 3 years ago that I do today on that. And I would suspect 3 years from now, I'm going to have it. There's more of an urgency to really, 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 really focus.
Mhm.
Because, as we age, there comes a point where you see, and again, not from health, technology perspective, and, people talk about living to be 200 and all that stuff, right? I get that, and that's out there. I don't know how long I'm going to live, but the older I get, the more I realize, you know what? I've got stuff to do, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have to do it.
Yeah, it truly resonates with that old parable, right? With age comes wisdom. You've unpacked that for us. It's also a scenario that's occurring, right? With death. It's like the closer you get to death, the understanding that you could die today or tomorrow. Because as the young ones, we don't really feel that way, right? It's like we're immortal, right? When we're very, very young. But as you get closer to the grave, if you want, or whichever way you want to go, it's very important. You've unpacked something that over the last two conversations, I indicated that the people that have been coming back onto the podcast have realized they're doing that. They're focusing more on a way to make more impact with less time.
It's so important. I have a son who's going to be 24 years old, and he's an entrepreneur, business owner, and he's learning just amazing things. And he's got so much energy and so much interest in all this other stuff. And I sit back and I watch that, and I can see myself in him and having all these curiosities. And I love, love, love to learn and information. And I see, you know what? Gosh, if I had a way to harness that when I was younger and just laser focus on going really, 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 really deep with a certain discipline, I could have really mastered that at a really young age. And I became a generalist in finance and specialized over probably about 16, 17 years ago. And think, gosh, I could have done that earlier. No regret. I'm just speaking from just understanding, right?
Yeah, reflection. Yeah, well, let's dig into that, the Living Wealthy Financial Group. What's going on there, please?
Oh, well, our niche is safe money strategies, a very specific safe money strategy, which is using a whole life insurance policy. And I can say we are especially busy because the crazier things are in the world, the more people are looking for safety when it comes to their money. it's like a risk on, risk off, right? When things are crazy, people are looking to reduce their risk. And when people are feeling really confident, they feel really secure, they're willing to take more risk. And so right now, there's a lot of crazy out there and people are feeling it. And so they're like, I want my money in a safe place. So we're super busy, thankfully. And the strategies I work with aren't necessarily for crazy times, it's for all times. But people appreciate the safety when things are crazy.
I love that. Yeah, people do appreciate. Now, what's going on with the radio program? It's Living Wealthy Radio, right?
Still going at it after all
Love
these
it.
years.
Wow, that's
Yes.
great. So this is what, like 8 years, is it?
At least 8 years. We've got hundreds and hundreds of episodes. So we're
Wow.
still going strong. We're actually expanding this year. We've got a secret project in place and really super excited about it. And yeah, so like you, I'm still going at it. I want to high five you, right?
Yeah, it's like virtual high five. Yeah, virtual high five. Plow. Yeah, I love that. What's really cool is this opportunity I get to access this time with you to check in to see if you have continued the path that you said you wanted to continue. You have. And that is something to be very proud of. Many people start something and they give up. But you've not given up. You've evolved tremendously, but you've not given up. So I appreciate that it's both motivational and inspirational to those listening as well. In closing, Teresa, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Well, Angel, thank you for the affirmation. And it's a mirror to you because this is exactly who you are and what you've done, right? You stayed committed to your project. And here we are 3 years later, and you've evolved. And I guess the theme of the day, the message is go deep. There is something great about being wide in whatever it is that you're doing, but going deep is really, I think, going to make the difference in the long term when it comes to whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in life. Go deep, continue to go deep, keep beating that drum. Don't stop beating that drum and find the passion to continue because it is easy to lose the passion. It is easy to wake up and say, I'm bored. This doesn't excite me anymore. You've got to go back to that, why you're doing what you're doing. So, Angel, I think that would be my message.
I love it. Well done. Amazing audience. Again, you heard it live here on 12-Minute Convos. Teresa Kuhn, a pleasure I treasure. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.